look at how busy that bridge is. Like, oh my god, there's so many people. I did not expect there to be that many. Wow. Anyway, hi everyone, welcome back to St. Petersburg. Today we are expanding from this area here, and we'll probably expand around the train station, maybe to the other side of the TOD area. Mostly probably this side, but we'll just see what happens. So we left off here, and I think in the last video I was saying that whenever you have a train track going through an urban area, it's always so difficult to really make sure both sides are connected. So there isn't really much space to connect either side here, so I thought I'd just connect either side by a pedestrian bridge. So there's this part here that kind of just connects up all three sides, I guess. And I think for this area, it's not going to be a huge amount of pedestrian activity, so I think we can get away with just doing a pedestrian bridge over the train track here, and there's also the road that goes underneath the train track there, and then also up to the right towards the TOD area, there's also the other road that goes over the train track. So I think that's okay, and it really depends on like how you want the area to look. So for me, I want the area to be quite encouraging to walk around in, so I didn't want it to look very industrial or very abandoned, because that's how it usually looks with train tracks. It's not really the nicest area to be in. So just lots of pathways everywhere is what I'm doing, and then I put lots of trees along the train track, so that can act as just like a sound barrier, but also just for visual appeal. It just makes it look nicer, I guess. It blocks out the industrial image of the train track, and yeah, it just acts as a nice bit of a barrier, even if it doesn't really reduce a huge amount of the noise coming from the train. I think it's still going to just look nice, and that's something that in town planning we're taught for, like especially along highways. Like, you have a sound barrier. If you want a natural sound barrier, you can just leave the existing vegetation there, so that's like a lot of trees and stuff, and yeah, so that acts as a natural barrier, and it also just looks natural, which is probably what a lot of people want. They would prefer a green look rather than a big wall or a big fence, a big artificial wall or fence. So this area here, since there's the main road just below the screen, so I kind of made it the zones in kind of like levels. So along the road there's the office spaces, and then we go back a little bit further, there's a little bit more office space, then there's the commercial, and then residential, and then I think again later on I do a little bit more commercial up against the next road that I make, but I don't think I've done that yet. This part here, it's kind of like an odd little space here, because it's like, because I didn't know what to do for this area, so I just left it, just put pathways. But at first I was like, should I put a road down here, connect it to that main road there, put a lot of I guess commercial, maybe some office spaces, but I thought no, we'll actually just leave it, make it just seem natural, continue it on with the existing open green space that's already there to the left side. There's all the pathways along the river already, so, and I think if I were to connect a little road to this main road here, it would probably disrupt the flow of that main road, because I really did not want to add too many connections to that main road, because I wanted there to be a nice easy flow to get from one side to the other. So so I just left it like this. There's that pathway up there right up against the commercial buildings, and it connects up to that weird little, what would you call that, a pedestrian roundabout? I don't know, but at least they're using it, so that's good. And you can see the pedestrian pathway there, it's super used, which is really, really great. So it's really encouraging them to just walk, I guess, and that's pretty good. That's what I was hoping for overall. So I think not in the next episode, but the next episode after, I'm going to do a lot of pedestrian pathways, and it'll be like pedestrian highways everywhere, or cycling pathways. In the next episode, I've actually already filmed it, surprisingly. It's going to be all about doing highways around the city, doing highway tunnels, and just making that connect nice and without disrupting too much flow. So stick around for that in the next episode. So that should be up not too long after, since I've already filmed it. So yeah, I just love how there's so many people just walking along around there. And so in the upcoming videos, I was planning on doing pedestrian pathways basically all along the side of the river, either side of the river, just everywhere, just making it super like connected everywhere. And it's going to be quite a huge job to do, but I think in the end it's going to look quite good, and it's just going to create a lot of connectability and just create a nice atmosphere, I think. So that's basically the first area done, so that's like zone 1 done. And see, there's people already using that area, which is really great. The pedestrian bridge there, so that's really great. Just filling in some kind of awkward areas with some trees, just to make it look more filled in, a bit more realistic, because it looks a little bit bare without it. Yeah, and then I just add some more on this side quickly. I have to admit, this whole area here, I'm just really enjoying it, and I think it's because of two reasons. I think it's because the main road that you can just see at the bottom of the screen, it flows along. It's not like a grid type road. It really just flows along. So that's the main reason. That's the first reason why I like it. And the cars, they can really just flow along there, and I think it just looks cool how they just flow from like intersection to intersection, and there's not really much areas where they have to stop. And then the second reason I think I like this area is because there's a lot of greenery, and as you know, you guys always joke in the comments that I really do like trees, which yeah, I really do. And so this area, it's really green. It just looks really well maintained so far. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with this area. So this road here will probably act as mostly for residential. So up on this area here, which I don't know when I'll do that, in a few more episodes, it'll just be for residential, mostly low residential areas. I do add in a second boulevard type road here in a second, and so that will act as sort of a supply road for the TOD area and also just this area in general, I think. For this area, I was kind of worried, like, because with TOD it's a mixture of medium to high density, so I was kind of worried but also interested to see how it would look, because I didn't want it to look like a second downtown area. So I wanted the downtown area to still be like the obvious downtown area, and so I wanted this area to not like combat it for like downtown area visual appeal. So that's why I kind of kept this area mostly just as like medium density. And this area here, since actually I'm not going to say why I'm doing this, because you guys will see that in the next episode why I put a roundabout here. So just like, I'm sure you can work it out why, but it's just going to help the flow. But there's another reason why, but I'm not going to tell you guys what that is just yet, so you just have to wait and see. This road here that I'm just about to add right there, if you were to make it go straight ahead and connect to the road that goes to the roundabout, I think that intersection would be just way too close to the roundabout, and it would cause a lot of traffic to actually build up into the roundabout. And then since there's roads leading into the roundabout, other roads, all those other roads would also build up. So it's always good not to have connections, like when I say connections, I mean intersections too close to main intersections or too close to roundabouts, just because you don't want to really disrupt that flow too much, because like an intersection or a roundabout, it's already going to disrupt the flow a little bit, so you don't want to add even more disruption to that area. So, and that's also why a roundabout is sometimes better than an intersection, and that's quite a debate everyone is always talking about, which is better, a roundabout or an intersection. And the answer to that is it really depends what type of traffic you want to use in that intersection or roundabout. So yeah, and it also depends on the demand for that road, or the volume of traffic for the roundabout or intersection. So I can't really personally answer that in general, because yeah, like I said, it really depends. I like to use a lot of roundabouts, but you can add in a lot of special lanes to make the roundabouts work a lot better, or you can do really interesting intersections like I've done in a few episodes ago. Remember there was that kind of like in the first area I done, there's the two main intersections right on the river. They're kind of, some people said they kind of remind them of like diamond intersection, so that's kind of like an example of how an intersection can work with traffic lights instead of a roundabout. So yeah, it really depends. Let me know what you like to use more, roundabout or intersection, and like for what type of like traffic or use you like to use it for, because like I said, I prefer to do roundabouts, but the only downside with a roundabout is that it takes up more space. Intersection is a lot more just neater, concise, and you can just work with it a lot better. So but still, I like to do a mixture, of course. This area here, I like that it's not a huge, like a very strong grid structure in this area, and I'm just doing some random medium density residential just because I want it to kind of blend out a little bit from that TOD area, and it can just blend in with the medium density. So and I forget what I was saying, to be honest. So there's that weird bank right there along the boulevard road, so I thought I'd just flatten that out, and I actually decided to make that into just an open green space area with some vegetation, a lot of trees, and then pathways. So just because in this whole area there isn't really too much green space, and I feel like green space, it's always really important to have basically everywhere in the city, just because it's a good thing to have. So I try to fit it in wherever I can. So, and the bank, I don't really know what to put on the bank because it's quite steep, and if anything does build there, it's going to create some really gross angles. So I think it's best to just fill it in with some trees or whatever else, some rocks, I don't know. I chose trees just because I like trees. It looks a lot better, it looks more natural, and yeah. I feel like this whole area, it's coming along quite good, and I really wanted to kind of like just not really change the terrain too much. I mean, I did I did change it a lot for this area, but what I'm trying to say is that I didn't want to do major grid systems everywhere. I wanted to kind of follow the existing terrain, so that's why the main road right at the bottom of the screen there, it's kind of wavy because it kind of follows the terrain along the side of the river, and I really do like that because it's like it's welcoming in the terrain into the urban landscape. So, and that's also kind of like an example right there. So the pathways, they curve around, and it's I just find it quite nice to have a mixture of a grid versus a more natural wavy layout. And there's also a lot of debate about which is better, a wavy type city layout, so kind of like Sydney's downtown, or like New York style where it's all severely grid system. So I mean, either can work fine. I'm not going to say which is better because I've suggested before which I thought was better, and a lot of people they had huge arguments, let's just say that, in the comment section, and I completely stayed out of that because I did not want to like just interfere with that because it was getting pretty intense. I think for that whole comment section, I actually ended up deleting the whole thing because it was getting really personal, and you guys were like just super, I don't know, it was just going too crazy. So like I said, I'm not gonna say which is better, a grid system or a flowing type system. So that's for you. It really depends on, I guess it just depends on the terrain. It depends on how you lay it out as the planner, how you do road connections, if there's going to be a lot of bridges and tunnels, or I don't know, it either is fine. It just really depends on the makers, the creator. So, and so we're basically just finishing up a little bit now. We still got a couple more minutes to go. Like I said, there should be more green space in this whole area because TOD methods, like I done in the last episode, it really encourages green spaces. So I think I should have done a lot more green space right near the train station, or I probably should have downloaded a different train station for that area because the traditional train station is quite large. It's very generic as well, so I could have chose something a bit more better and would have reduced the amount of space taken up. So, and then this area here, since there's going to be a lot of residential above this kind of cliff area here, it's good to have a easy connection. So I don't know if I'll add another one of these later on, so we'll just have to see how busy this one becomes once I build the above residential area. I think it's too short to do the what's it called, what is it called? Like, not the chairlift, but the thing that goes up the side of the mountain. I can't remember what it's called. Is it the cable car? Let's just call it the cable car. Yeah, I think it's too short to do the cable car up this part here. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. And I feel like maybe the pathway, it's more scenic. I don't know. Not that they really care in the game, but this road here, I thought it was a little bit too steep, and I tried to like lower it down, but let's just leave it like that. So don't hate me for that. It's just how it is. Let's just say it's really steep. No trucks allowed because the incline is way too steep. So let's just not worry too much about that. This area here, I wasn't really sure what to do because it's like it's a steep area and it's close to a main road. It's close to the roundabout. Yeah, so I just filled it in with a bit of both of those, I guess. It was kind of just yeah, I really did not know. And I just put some little commercial buildings there just so it didn't look completely empty. And I don't know if those commercial areas will be used very much, but there's still a bit of a demand for it, so hopefully this area works out quite well in the future, because like I don't know how busy this whole area is going to be. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, what I might do in the future, where I might put public transport options. So yeah, we just have to wait and see. And I know I keep saying like, oh, we'll just have to wait and see, but we will have to wait and see for everything until the whole city is done, and then we can get into like fixing up all the issues. So and I hope you guys enjoyed this longer episode. So it's kind of like double the length that I've been doing like, what, 10 minutes maybe. So this is what, about 20 something minutes long, and I actually got quite a lot done, which I'm pretty happy with. And so, but I think a lot of you guys prefer shorter videos because, I mean, you don't want to sit around waiting. So there we go, guys. That's basically it for this episode. Just giving you guys a shot overall what I've done so far. And I think, well, I know it looks quite good. It blends into the whole area. Traffic flows good. There's a good mixture of a grid and like wavy type flowing roads. And you can see the traffic, it's going quite well. That train track that connects to the road there, I may do the train just straight over the road. It might help with the flow. Or maybe go under. No, probably over. Because I imagine this road will be quite busy in the future, so most likely that train will go over. I don't know why I didn't put it over straight away in the first place. So, so this area here, it's all like a completely mixed area. You got so many office spaces. You got the residential. You got a lot of commercial. You got the train station nearby. You got pathways everywhere. So I think this area, it's quite good. There shouldn't be too much traffic in this whole area, so they should prefer walking, hopefully. I'm not sure if I've enabled that as a mod, the encourage, what is it, biking or something, or walking or something, I don't know, something like that. So this pathway here, I hope it becomes quite useful in the future. I imagine it will, because of all the residential areas that will be up top there. So and just to finish up before I go, I thought I'd give you guys just a bit closer look of the city. So what I'm going to do is just going to click on a random car, and we're just going to follow it along this area and just enjoy. So thank you guys for watching. Enjoy, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.